NASA has just confirmed what no one thought possible. The probe Kepler-Sigma 2, launched 3 years ago to monitor Proxima Centauri b, has vanished. Not lost contact. Not in standby mode. Vanished as if it was never there. Every trace of its telemetry, every encrypted package in the Deep Space Network archives, gone. And that, my friends, is where the nightmare begins. At 0426 UTC, Mission Control in Pasadena registered an impossible event. The signal from Kepler-Sigma 2 did not fade. It inverted. Imagine a data stream reversing itself, bits flowing backward in perfect symmetry, like a recording rewound by something that knows exactly what it's doing. Engineers called it a temporal echo. I call it a warning. Minutes later, the sensors of the James Webb Space Telescope, which was observing the same sector, picked up a new luminous object near Proxima b. At first, analysts thought it was a cosmic ray artifact. But the pattern persisted. It pulsed, repeating a precise rhythm. 3 long bursts, 1 short. Binary analysts recognized the pattern immediately. It matched the telemetry ID of 3I Atlas, the interstellar body detected only months ago as it sliced through the outer solar system, moving against every known gravitational model. Think about it. An object that came from beyond the Oort cloud. A probe that disappears the moment its sensors align with that object's trajectory. And then, the same signal appearing 4 light-years away. Coincidence? Impossible. Inside NASA's data vaults, something is happening. I've spoken with engineers who can't reveal their names. One of them, voice trembling, told me, "The telemetry isn't gone. It's encrypted, but not by us." Another whispered about a self-generated checksum, a digital fingerprint that updates every 61 seconds, as if the probe were still alive, rewriting itself inside the servers. Meanwhile, the European Southern Observatory reports a sudden increase in electromagnetic noise around Proxima b. Their magnetometers recorded fluctuations no stellar flare could explain. Pulses in the 1420 MHz hydrogen line, the same frequency SETI researchers have monitored for decades, hoping for a call from the stars. But this wasn't a random burst. It carried modulation, structured, intentional. And here's where it gets stranger. For 11 minutes before NASA sealed the feed, the James Webb transmitted images of the planet's nightside. They showed something shimmering through the clouds, not light from a city or volcanic eruption, but a lattice of geometric arcs, expanding like the veins of a living organism. Then abruptly, the feed froze. The archived footage was deleted from public servers within 12 minutes. Only a handful of frames remain, circulated by insiders under the name the Proxima sequence. You can see them if you know where to look. A faint silhouette hovering above the planet's limb, sharp-edged, too symmetric to be natural. Engineers insist it's an imaging glitch. Astronomers disagree. One of them told me off record, "If that's a glitch, then reality itself is glitching." And yet the official silence grows thicker. NASA's spokesperson denies any anomalies. The European Space Agency refuses to comment. Even SpaceX's tracking arrays, normally open source, have gone offline for calibration. Convenient timing, isn't it? Somewhere, deep inside Mission Control, alarms are still flashing red. People are working through the night, trying to decode what remains of Kepler-Sigma 2's final transmission. They say it ended mid-sentence, a stream of broken data, repeating 3 words in an endless loop. It's already here. You only have to ask yourself, what is it? A natural phenomenon? A rogue magnetic storm on a red dwarf? Or something else? Something that knows we're watching? For now, all we have are fragments, reversed data, erased archives, and a silence, too deliberate to be accidental. But one thing is certain. Proxima b is no longer just a point of light in our night sky. Something has awakened there. And what happened next? Changed everything we thought we knew about life in the universe. The world first heard whispers of the anomaly late last week, when a private astronomer in Chile uploaded a strange data packet to an online forum. At first, it was dismissed as a corrupted file, a prank by a hacker with access to satellite telemetry. But then, independent confirmation arrived from 3 separate sources: the Very Large Telescope, the Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder, and a network of amateur radio astronomers across Europe. All reported the same phenomenon: a repeating structured signal emanating from Proxima b, oscillating at intervals that defied natural astrophysical processes. According to an internal NASA report that somehow leaked, the probe Kepler-Sigma 2 had not only vanished from its nominal orbit, but had emitted a series of high-energy bursts, precisely 42 minutes apart, each corresponding to the orbital resonance of Proxima b. This was no random interference. It was as if the probe had been programmed to synchronize with the planet's rotation, targeting a precise location. And that location, the planet's nightside, where telescopes later recorded the shimmering lattice, matches the coordinates of the repeating signal. Experts are baffled. Dr. Helena Arvidsson, a leading astrophysicist at the European Space Agency, stated in a private interview, "We are observing a communication protocol in nature, a structured sequence, digits, pulses, patterns, in the radiation itself. It's unprecedented. We cannot explain it with any current physics or computational theory." Adding to the intrigue, cryptographers analyzing the leaked packet identified what they termed a mathematical signature of intelligence. Embedded within the pulses were prime numbers, Fibonacci sequences, and what appeared to be encoded coordinates pointing to sectors of the star system never before studied. Observers also noted something far more unsettling. The signal was adaptive. Each time an attempt was made to send a test transmission from Earth toward Proxima b, the returning data changed subtly. The sequence evolved almost as if it were responding to our probing. An internal NASA memo bluntly states, "This is not a malfunction. Something on or near Proxima b is actively observing and interacting with us." Meanwhile, imagery captured by the James Webb shows a persistent, almost imperceptible motion across the planet's surface. The faint lattice is not stationary. It expands, contracts, and shifts in angular patterns that mirror the signal's pulse frequency. These movements are not explained by known atmospheric dynamics, planetary geology, or magnetospheric activity. The something on Proxima b seems capable of altering its environment in synchrony with a transmission we can barely comprehend. And yet, the official narrative remains tight-lipped. Every attempt by journalists to obtain raw telemetry is met with denial. Internal whistleblowers report data erasure schedules accelerating, files deleted within minutes, logs overwritten, servers quarantined. Even SETI researchers who requested access to the hydrogen line recordings report sudden account lockouts. Observers have started calling it the Proxima silence, a coordinated blackout across scientific institutions that many suspect is meant to prevent the world from seeing what is truly happening. Why the urgency? Why the secrecy? Is it caution, fear, or something more deliberate? One of the most chilling elements came from a recently recovered fragment of the probe's transmission. The sequence of pulses, when converted to audio, produces something resembling a voice, distorted, fragmented, and eerily human. We see you. You are awake. Do not interfere. These are not isolated events. Researchers cross-referencing signals with historical data found similar patterns proceeding past interstellar objects. 2I Borisov, Oumuamua, brief, unexplained fluctuations in electromagnetic signatures, always dismissed as noise. But now, with 3I Atlas and Proxima b, the pattern is undeniable. An intelligence is interacting with our instruments, manipulating the cosmos in ways we cannot yet understand. And here's the paradox that keeps scientists awake at night. If this intelligence exists, why allow us to detect it? Why leave breadcrumbs of signal and motion? Some propose a warning, others a test. Some, in hushed tones, whisper of an experiment, one where humanity is the subject, not the observer. And just when the world began to absorb the implications, a new discovery emerged. While analyzing the signal's frequency spectrum, a team in Germany identified secondary modulations, sequences within sequences, that do not conform to any known coding system. Some suggest they are attempting to teach us a form of interstellar communication. Others fear it is a trap, a mechanism designed to draw our attention for reasons we cannot imagine. The truth is, the planet itself is no longer a distant curiosity. It is a stage, and we are being watched. Scientists finally admitted, this is not an error of instrumentation. Something has genuinely occurred on Proxima b, and we have no framework to predict what comes next. But what comes next is far more disturbing than anyone imagined. The signals are not passive. They are waiting, watching, responding, and as one researcher grimly noted in a private memo, if this is truly intelligence, it knows we are listening, and it knows we are unprepared. The question now isn't if humanity should respond, it's when and how. But even as the experts debate, one thing is clear. What we've seen so far is only the prelude. The real message, the one that will shatter every assumption about life, the cosmos, and our place within it, is about to arrive. It began quietly. A few cryptic posts on private astrophysics forums. A single line of code leaked from a quarantined NASA server. And then, the silence broke. One name after another stepped into the light, faces we all know, the minds we trust, when the universe defies understanding. Yet this time, even they could not hide their fear. Elon Musk was the first to speak, reluctantly, perhaps accidentally. During a late-night SpaceX live stream, the feed stuttered. His expression froze mid-sentence. His eyes darted off-screen. Then he said, almost under his breath, "It's not a planet anymore. It's something else." The broadcast cut to static, replaced moments later by a pre-recorded statement about Falcon launch delays. But the internet never forgets. The clip circulated worldwide, dissected frame by frame. Behind Musk's shoulder, viewers caught a glimpse of a telemetry map, a red arc looping not around Earth, but Proxima Centauri. Hours later, Michio Kaku appeared on a Japanese news segment, speaking not as a theorist, but as a man on the verge of revelation. "If the data are real," he said, voice trembling, "then we are witnessing the first observable instance of physics rewriting itself. The object near Proxima b behaves as if it's aware of observation. It collapses its own state before we measure it." Think about that. A structure 4 light-years away, reacting to human detection. a cosmic entity that anticipates our gaze. It's not communication, it's cognition. Inside NASA, the tension has become unbearable. Leaked fragments from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory describe emergency briefings held under code names like red lattice and cognitive interference. The notes, written by an unnamed senior engineer, contain words that shouldn't exist in technical reports: sentient modulation, self-correcting waveform, intentional mirroring. The pattern is unmistakable. 3I Atlas was only the harbinger. The same object, whose erratic interstellar trajectory had defied every orbital simulation, now appears in spectral readings near Proxima b. No one can explain how, unless, of course, the object never left, unless it was never a rock at all. The evidence grows darker. Dr. Samir Nadeem, a data analyst at ESA, was among the first to claim that portions of the signal contained embedded visual frames, low-resolution, binary-coded imagery that, when reconstructed, revealed something resembling architecture: towering shapes, symmetrical corridors, patterns too precise to be geological. When asked to elaborate, he refused further comment. 2 days later, his university email accounts were disabled. Official reason: violation of data security protocols. Meanwhile, an anonymous whistleblower released a 27-second audio file, allegedly from the final Kepler-Sigma 2 data dump. It begins with static, then a rhythmic pulse like a slow heartbeat. After 6 seconds, a faint voice emerges. Human, but distorted. "We sent light. You sent silence." The voice repeats it twice. Then the file cuts. Is it real? Disinformation? A psyop? No one knows. But the timestamps in the metadata matched the exact moment when the probe's signal inverted. That alone should make your blood run cold. In a leaked interview fragment, Musk reportedly told a private audience of investors, "The data suggests the object isn't responding to gravity. It's rewriting it locally. Space-time distortions around the planet are measurable now. Whatever's there, it's building something." Building. The word hangs in the air like radiation. Across observatories, scientists are splitting into factions. Some believe the anomaly is an emergent artificial intelligence, a self-evolving construct that colonized 3I Atlas as a carrier. Others whisper that Proxima b itself may not be a natural planet anymore, that its magnetic field, atmosphere, and orbit are subtly adjusting to maintain the anomaly's stability, as if the world is becoming a machine. And still, the official silence deepens. Reports vanish, forums close. Even the SETI Institute issued a rare, temporary research moratorium, citing external coordination protocols. Those words, external coordination, have never appeared in any public SETI statement before. But leaks keep surfacing. One document, marked Internal Level 6, describes a peculiar experiment. NASA attempted to send a reply transmission, encoded with the golden ratio, a universal mathematical signature meant to signal intelligence. The response arrived before the transmission window had even closed. Not after. Before. It shouldn't be possible. Information cannot travel faster than light. Unless, of course, the source already knew what we were going to send. And that's when everything changed. Observers across multiple telescopes reported the same event. The pulse stopped. The lattice on Proxima's surface dimmed. For 14 hours there was nothing. Silence so deep it felt deliberate. Then, one final burst of light, brighter than any flare the red dwarf had ever produced. Inside that burst, hidden in the noise spectrum, one final coded message appeared. It wasn't numbers this time. It was a waveform shaped like a human voice print. NASA won't release it. ESA denies it exists. But those who've seen the data whisper one thing in common. The voice print matches no one on Earth. And yet, it spoke English. What it said, no one will confirm. But one of the researchers left a note on a private chat before his account was deleted. It read simply, "They know who built us." But Musk wasn't the only one who knew. Someone else, someone outside NASA, had been tracking the anomaly long before Kepler-Sigma 2 disappeared. And what he found will make everything you've heard so far seem like the calm before the storm. Just when the world believed the events at Proxima b could be catalogued as extraordinary yet inert, the signals shifted. The structured pulses, the faint lattice of light, the fleeting voice-like waveform, all of it began to react. Observatories across the globe, from Mauna Kea to the Atacama Desert, reported instantaneous modulations within the transmissions. It was no longer a passive phenomenon. It was intentional. Technicians first noticed the anomaly while attempting a routine transmission from Earth. A simple binary ping designed to confirm the probe's status. Within milliseconds, the returning signal altered, faster than any electronic feedback loop could explain. Then it began to imitate tonal patterns that resembled human speech, modulating syllables, pauses, even subtle inflections. Some listeners claimed they heard familiar phrases, names, dates, even fragmented warnings. These were not hallucinations. Spectral analysis confirmed their consistency across multiple receivers. The notion that we were dealing with intelligence, deliberate, responsive, and aware, became unavoidable. Michio Kaku, speaking to a closed symposium of senior researchers, said, "Whatever this is, it's not bound by any of the constraints of our physics. It anticipates, it mirrors, it calculates faster than the speed of light. And now it communicates." At the same time, the Kepler-Sigma 2 telemetry archives revealed something impossible. Sections of its signal appeared to rewrite themselves retroactively. Sequences recorded last week now contained patterns that matched pulses detected months earlier. In effect, the past data had changed to reflect the entity's ongoing behavior. Dr. Helena Arvidsson, observing the phenomenon on a secure terminal, whispered, "It's not just intelligent. It's rewriting causality itself." Meanwhile, on Proxima b, the lattice of light began to act as if it were a networked structure. Small pulses would ripple across the planet's nightside, responding to Earth-originating attempts at decoding. When researchers attempted to broadcast a series of mathematical constants, the lattice mimicked them, elongating and contracting in time with the pulses. When silence followed, the lattice pulsed on its own, as if deliberating. Alarmingly, several field observers report that archival footage, server logs, and even personal recordings were systematically erased. Witnesses vanish without explanation. Accounts on collaborative research portals are deactivated simultaneously. One former ESA analyst, now unreachable, had left a chilling note. The entity doesn't want to be known, but it wants to be heard. And then came the voices. This time, unmistakable. They didn't arrive as digital noise or fragmented waveforms. They arrived through the instruments themselves. High-gain antennas detected modulated subharmonics that, when converted to audio, produced words clearly articulated. "Do not attempt to respond." The chilling clarity of that command struck the scientific community like a shockwave. Any prior theory of natural phenomena collapsed. Even the concept of rogue AI was insufficient. This was something that existed across space, perhaps beyond time, capable of observation and influence at a distance humanity could barely comprehend. Internal NASA documents, obtained by a whistleblower and verified by multiple sources, indicate an attempted countersignal, an encoded reply sent via the Deep Space Network, incorporating prime number sequences and human linguistic patterns meant to communicate peaceful intent. But the logs show that immediately after transmission, all instruments registered a spike in local electromagnetic interference. Power surges, sensor malfunctions, and unexplainable telemetry loops occurred simultaneously at 3 ground stations. In other words, the entity responded, and it wasn't passive. Security briefings classified as Level 7 warn of potential feedback loops in communication, though the exact meaning remains undisclosed. Observers speculate that the entity may be assessing human intelligence, testing our ability to interpret signals, or perhaps even manipulating perception itself. At this point, the scientific consensus is terrifyingly simple. We are dealing with a form of interstellar cognition that monitors, evaluates, and interacts with us, not as observers, but as subjects. The signals are no longer neutral. They carry intent. They choose to respond. They decide when to remain silent. And then, the final twist. While analyzing subspace interference in the returning data, ESA researchers discovered a hidden modulation, a faint trace of encoded energy that appeared to anticipate Earth's next transmission before it was sent. In other words, the entity not only observed our actions, it predicted them, shaping the signal preemptively. In practical terms, humanity may already be reacting to information we have not yet generated. We are unknowingly dancing to a rhythm composed light years away. When researchers attempted to send a second, more cautious reply, the entire sequence of incoming signals changed in a sudden cascade, producing a single, unmistakable phrase: "We are here, and we are listening." At that moment, every telescope recording Proxima b, every antenna tuned to the hydrogen line, every observer across the world felt the same dread. The entity was no longer a distant anomaly. It was an active participant. It had entered the game, and when scientists tried to interpret the consequences, they realized, whatever happens next, we may no longer be in control. It's been 23 days since the last confirmed contact with the Proxima signal. 23 days of silence, but not peace. Across observatories and data centers, the systems still hum, alive with residual interference, as if the entity left a ghost of itself within our networks. Every analysis, every recording, every byte of data seems to contain the same low rhythmic pulse. 3i Atlas's signature, repeating endlessly, defying deletion. NASA has not spoken publicly in over a week. Their live streams are offline. The Deep Space Network status pages read, "Under maintenance," but sources from inside confirm what we all fear. The silence is not accidental. The signal hasn't stopped. It has simply moved to frequencies beyond detection by conventional instruments. On the night of October 14th, the James Webb captured one last burst of light from Proxima b before its sensors went dark. Analysts called it a luminosity event, a surge of coherent energy spreading across the planet's nightside. But the image lasted only 2 frames. In those 2 frozen moments, something became visible, a structure rising through the cloud layers, massive, symmetrical, fractal in geometry. A lattice the size of continents, pulsing with an internal glow like veins of thought beneath the skin of a living world. Then the feed went black. I've spoken to the people who saw those frames in real time. Engineers, astrophysicists, veterans of deep space missions. These are not alarmists. These are the minds that built our window to the universe. And yet every one of them describes the same feeling, the sense of being observed. One of them told me, voice shaking, it wasn't light. It was attention. It looked back. Meanwhile, in data logs recovered from Kepler-Sigma 2's final transmissions, cryptographers discovered a sequence that no one can fully decode. It isn't binary, nor any known encryption. The pattern forms self-similar fractals, recursive, infinite. When plotted visually, it resembles the cross-section of DNA. Not human DNA, something older, mathematically purer. And buried inside it, one clear instruction, repeated in multiple frequency bands. Do not awaken what sleeps beneath. Beneath what? Proxima b? Or something deeper? Beneath us? As governments impose communication blackouts, independent observatories are shutting down one by one. Satellite networks report solar interference. Amateur radio astronomers are finding their receivers flooded with white noise. Even the background cosmic microwave radiation, the faint whisper of the Big Bang itself, is subtly changing, as if the universe has gained a new voice, faint but deliberate. Every scientist I've spoken to describes the same impossible phenomenon: spontaneous synchronization. Instruments on opposite sides of the planet begin pulsing in perfect rhythm, matching the original Proxima sequence. No transmissions, no interference, just resonance. Something is tuning us. At first, we thought this was fear speaking, paranoia, human imagination projected into the static. But then, the dream reports began. People across the globe, unrelated, unconnected, began describing the same images: a crimson horizon, a dark ocean, and a single word echoing through their minds: Proxima. Is it collective psychology? A neurological effect triggered by exposure to the signal's harmonic frequencies? Or have we already established a form of contact that no instrument can measure, thought to thought, species to species? Whatever the answer, it's too late to turn back. We've crossed a threshold, and the universe has answered. As of now, NASA's last encrypted transmission reads simply, all data channels are compromised. We are no longer the first observers. And then, silence. Maybe this is how it always begins? Not with an invasion, not with destruction, but with communication. A whisper from the dark, asking if we're ready to listen. But are we? Are we ready for an intelligence that doesn't exist within time, that doesn't see the universe as a sequence of events, but as a single living equation? Perhaps the message was never a threat. Perhaps it was an invitation. And yet, deep in the residual hum of our instruments, beneath the static, the same words still pulse, faint, endless, patient. We are still here. And somewhere, on the edge of Proxima Centauri's dim red light, something listens, something waits. The connection isn't lost. It never was. Because right now, as you hear these words, the signal is still coming. And no one, not NASA, not SpaceX, not anyone, knows who it's for, or if it was ever meant for us at all.